kapwa ko Pilipino. Ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo, ilantad ang likas nating talento, at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko, para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at huwag magpatalo, ipagdiwang natin ang Pilipino.
Yan ang Pinoy.
Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, Chumbe, Sibay, Lakay, Amiga. Sama-samang pakita ang galing natin katropa sa kapwa ko Pilipino.
Beginnings, endings, and everything in between. Yan po ang tema ng ating programa sa inyong paboritong kasama tuwing Sabado ng umaga. Di paano? Bango na! Power and Play na!
Power and Play with Com Noli Iyala.
Magandang umaga po na imbang nga bigat. Mayong aga sa inyong lahat. Sa ating pong mga suki sa buong Pilipinas mula Apari hanggang Hulo. Ito po ang inyong paboritong kasama tuwing Sabado, ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, ang Yerong May Aluminum, Cherry Tigo, It's Fun to Drive, Chooks to Go, ang nag-iisang manok ng bayan, at ng True Religion, where passion meets power. Naku magandang umaga po sa lahat ng ating mga suki. Ano bang araw na ngayon? June 11. Aba, ating palang Independence Day. Ha? Independence Day bukas. Aba, sana po lahat po tayo ay nasa magandang kalagayan para i-celebrate ang ating araw ng kalayaan. Ha? Again, tayo po mahalin po natin ang ating bayan. Yan po ang mahalaga. Sa mga panahon na ito. Of course, binabati po natin lahat ng ating mga suki na nakikinig po sa Radyo 5 92.3 News FM. Lahat po ng uri ng manggagawa, lahat po ng mga nasa emergency room, mga security guard, mga namamasada, lahat po ng nandyan sa mga istasyon ng bus, mga taxi driver. Kamusta po kayong lahat? At sana po'y maayos ang inyong kalagayan. Bagamat bumababa na, halos wala na nga mga kaso, mag-ingat pa rin po tayo. Kinakamusta rin po lahat natin ng mga nagkakape, lahat po ng mga nagbabakasyon at nanonood sa 1PH on Signal TV. Good morning talaga. Marami po tayong pag-uusapan ngayon. And of course, good morning, good afternoon, good evening all over the world sa mga nakatutok po sa Facebook Live. Marami tayong suki dyan. And lahat po ng mga nagsasapit ng kanilang mga kaarawan, ng kanilang birthday ngayong araw pong ito. Happy birthday! Lalong-lalo na sa aking pinakamamahal na Mami Ann Mohe. Happy birthday, Mami! God bless you. Sana po'y patuloy kayong nasa mabuting kalagayan, and I hope to see you later. Tayo'y magse-celebrate. Alright, mga kaibigan, sabi ko kanina, ang ating tema ngayong araw na ito ay pagsisimula, pagtatapos, at pagbabago. Lahat ng bagay tungkol sa mundo ng palakasan. Ganyan talaga Merong sa lahat ng bagay, hindi naman pwedeng forever. Wala hong forever. Diba? Pero lagi nating pinagbubunyi, sineselebrate ang mga oras kung saan tayo po'y nagtatapos, tayo po'y nagsisimula, at lahat po ng mga desisyon ng mga atleta natin. At ngayong araw pong ito, ay yan ang ating magiging paksa, sapagkat ang ating mga kasama ay ang pinakabagong interim head coach ng Gilas Pilipinas. Mamaya po yan sa In the Spotlight, si Coach Nenad Vucinic. First time po natin makakausap ang Serbian Kiwi. Siya po yung dating nag-coach ng New Zealand national team, decorated coach in his own right at ngayon po siya ang hahawak ng Gilas Pilipinas patungo sa FIBA World Cup Qualifier third window. Mamaya po makakasama natin Coach Nenad Vucinic ng Gilas Pilipinas. Makakasama din po natin mamaya ang kariretiro lamang o ang nagtapos na si Joe Devance ng Barangay Ginebra. Mamaya po yan, pag-uusapan natin ang kanyang career, ang kanyang mga naging idolo, ang kanyang mga plano at kung bakit po siya ay nag-decide i-hang up na yung kanyang mga sneakers. Ang kariretiro lamang na si Joe Devance. And of course, ang pagbabago, ang everything in between. Yung batang ngayon ay gagawa ng kasaysayan dahil siya po ang kauna-unahang Pilipino na pupunta sa Korean Basketball League. Walang iba kundi ang dating Ateneo Blue Eagle guard at Gilas Pilipinas guard na si SJ Belanghel. Mamaya po yan makakausap din natin ng live si SJ Belanghel. Kaya napakarami po ng ating tinututukan. Of course, ngayong araw pong ito, doon sa mga mahihilig sa NBA, game number 4 ng NBA Finals sa panig ng Boston Celtics at ng Golden State Warriors. Gaganapin po yan sa TD Garden sa Boston, Massachusetts. At alam niyo po, ako nakita ko yan mismo sa aking mga mata. Grabe ang intensity ng crowd dyan sa Boston. In fact, kinireklamo na nga ng mga players ng Golden State. Lamang po ang Boston sa series ito, 2-1. At itong fourth game, napaka-crucial sapagkat pagka bumaba o pagka lumamang sila ng 3-1, naku, napakahirap habulin yan. Although it's not impossible, ginawa yan ng Cleveland Cavaliers sa Golden State. Kaya-kayang gawin din yan ng Golden State kung sila ay ika nga matatalo ngayong araw pong ito o maitatabla kaya ng Golden State Warriors. Ang bali-balita ay ika nga si Draymond Green ay inspirado dahil sa after a bad game in Game 3. Tingnan natin kung paano ang paglalaro. Of course, aasahan pa rin ng Golden State si Steph Curry at si Klay Thompson. So mamaya po yan mga alas 9 ng umaga and we will give you updates on that particular game. Inaabangan po, tinututukan din po natin ang mga laro ng PBA. Nakasisimula pa lamang ng kanilang Philippine Cup. Kahapon, ang ganda ng laro. Natutukan ko yung second half ng laban ng Magnolia at saka ng bagong team na Converge. Naku, napakaganda po Yan ang gusto ko alam niyo naman mga fans, yan din ang gusto Yung bang tunay na lumalaban, genuine ang laban ng Converge Fiber Xers. Nilamangan na po sila ng 20 puntos nung first half. Hinabol nila, bumaba sa 4. Lumamang na naman yung Magnolia na napakalakas. Although kahapon, hindi naglaro si Paul Lee at very limited ang playing time ni Mark Baroka. Nilamangan sila ng 14, papasok ng fourth quarter. Abay, mantakin nyo, hinabol pa rin. Sa likod po ni Mav Ahanmisi, ni Ben Adamos, nung kanilang rookie na si Justin Arana, at ni RK Ilagan, at pinamunuan ng kanilang superstar na si Jeron Teng. And naipuwersa po ang isang overtime at nanalo pa. Unang panalo ng Converge sa kanilang franchise history sa PBA laban ng Magnolia kagabi in overtime. Hindi naka-score ang Magnolia noong pong overtime. Mantakin nyo yun mga kapatid. Hindi nakascore ang Magnolia at nang nanalo po ang Converge. Alam nyo, ako I'm rooting for them dahil yan ang gusto natin Tayo po mga fans, yung tunay na lumalaban. Hindi yung, at nakikita nyo yung mga galaw nila Kumuha sila ng mga players na akma sa kanilang koponan. Yan lang naman ang gusto natin Hindi naman kailangan manalo ng kampyonato kaagad Yung bang genuine ang desire na manalo ng hindi lamang player, hindi lamang ng coaches, kung hindi ng management. Hindi ba yung pagkatapos manalo ay iti-trade mo na yung iyong pinakamagaling na player para masustain lamang ang iyong paglalaro sa PBA? Hindi po pwede yun. Kaya tayo mga fans, hindi pwedeng bulahin Hindi po pwede dahil nakikita po yan sa galaw ng players, ng coaches, at ng management. Tandaan nyo po yan. Alam po yan. Alam niyo yung Converge, isa na lamang ang kulang dyan eh. Isang magaling na shooter. Talagang may laban yan. At kung ako ang Converge, ako naman ang re-raid dun sa mga big teams. Yung mga conglomerates. Ako naman ang kukuha ng player. Dahil sa meron po silang pwede pang i-trade dyan eh. Yung si Abu Tratter. Pag-isipan po nila yan. But again, congratulations to Coach Jeff Carriazo and his team. RK Ilagan had the big shots. Jeron Teng is a terrific superstar. Kulang na lamang talaga kay Jeron is maybe a consistent outside shot. And of course, the rest of the team, including their governor, ang aking kaibigan si Chito Salud, and their team owner, Dennis Anthony Uy, congratulations po sa Converge at ating tututukan yan. Of course, marami pa pong balita, kaya simulan na natin sa ating paghimay ng mga balita ngayong linggo sa ating Sports Weekly Highlights.
Power and Play with Com Noli Iyala.
Una sa balita, pinatumba ni Naoya Inoue sa kanilang rematch si Nonito Donaire Jr. Na-knockout sa second round si The Filipino Flash matapos matamaan ng kanan sa mukha. Dahil dyan, dinagdag na ni Inoue ang WBC bantamweight sa kanyang koleksyon. Ang WBO belt na lang ang kulang para maging undisputed siya sa timbang. Sa basketball, gumawa ng kasaysayan si SJ Belanghel, kagaya po ng binabanggit ko kanina, bilang unang Filipino import sa Korean Basketball League. Hindi na itutuloy ng Blue Eagle ang kanyang 2 playing years na eligibility sa Ateneo matapos mag-commit ng 2-year contract sa Daegu Kogas. Matatandaang si Belanghel ang pumukol ng Dagger 3 kontra Korea sa FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers noong 1 taon. Sa NBA, lalaro daw si Golden State Warriors si Steph Curry sa Game 4 ng NBA Finals mamaya sa kabila ng kanyang minor left foot injury. Nadaganan ni Al Horford ang paa ni Curry sa kanilang laro kontra Celtics sa Game 3. Hindi nag-practice kahapon ang Golden State guard pero sigurado raw siyang lalaro sa critical na Game 4. Dito sa PBA, hinirang na most valuable player ng season 46 si Barangay Ginebra guard Scottie Thompson. Ito ang unang MVP award sa career ni Thompson kasunod din ng panalo niya ng Best Player of the Conference sa Governor's Cup maging ang Finals MVP. Si Scottie na ang pang-apat na Gin King na nanalo ng MVP kasunod ni na Eric Menk, JJ Helterbrand at ni Mark Kagiwa na kare-retiro lamang. Update naman sa Philippine Cup. Nangunguna sa early rankings ang San Miguel Beermen na walang talo sa unang 2 laro nito. May tigisang panalo naman ang Northport at Blackwater. 1-1 ang standings ng Rain or Shine, TNT NLEX at ng bagong team na Converge habang winless ang Terra Firma, Phoenix at Magnolia. Hindi pa naglalaro ang Barangay Ginebra at Meralco Bolts. At yan po ang buod ng ating mga balita sa Sports Weekly Highlights. Alright, nabalita nga kanina, nabasa po natin yung laban ni Nonito Donaire at ni Naoya Inoue. Nakita naman natin yung laban po yan nung Martes. Talaga pong pambihira yung galing nung Inoue. At inamin naman ng ating kampiyon na si Nonito Donaire na nagkamali siya sa kanyang game plan. Meron siyang set game plan pero tila lumihis siya doon pagkatapos na tinamaan siya at nauwi sa bakbakan o yung brawl ika nga no na hindi dapat niyang ginawa. Alam niyo po, marami siguradong maaaring may ibang opinion pero nung nakita ko si Naoya Inoue nung gabing yon, talagang bumalik ang alaala ni Manny Pacquiao sa akin po. Ganun po kabilis, ka-accurate, at kalakas yung suntok ni Inoue. Crisp, crafty, quick, and powerful si Naoya Inoue. Nonito Donaire is a champion at siguro hindi na kailangan niya masyadong kailangan pa magpatunay. Pero yan po ang ating pupulsuhan ngayong araw na ito. Pagkatapos po ng masakit na pagkatalo ng ating kampiyon, the Filipino Flash, Nonito Donaire, who has nothing to be ashamed of. Siya po ay itatanghal na matagal ng kampiyon, 4 division champion, fighter of the year. In 3 decades, he has won a belt. Wala na po siyang kailangan patunayan. Kaya ang tanong po natin ngayong araw po na ito, sa pulso ng bayan, Ang tanong po natin ay panahon na ba para magretiro si Nonito the Filipino Flash Donaire Jr.? Ulitin ko po yan ha. Panahon na ba para magretiro si Nonito the Filipino Flash Donaire Jr.? Ha? Kung gusto nyo pong makipagtalakayan, mag-text lamang sa amin sa 0908-208-0629 o di kaya ay magkomentaryo sa Facebook page namin po sa 1PH Power and Play at Radyo 5 and of course sa aking Twitter handle or account at Noli Iyala ha. Medyo kung tayo po may panahon mamaya, babasahin natin ang inyong mga sagot. Again, panahon na ba para magretiro si Nonito Donaire? And of course, ang Pulso ng Bayan ay hatid sa inyo ng Chooks to Go, ang nag-iisang manok ng bayan. Alright, mga kaibigan, well, right now, ready na tayo para makipagtalakayan dito sa ating paboritong portion, ang Fast Take.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Ang Fast Take ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Tigo. It's fun to drive. At ngayong umaga pong ito, solo flight ang ating mga kasama sa Fast Take. Ha? At talaga naman tayo nagpapasalamat na binigyan niya tayo ng panahon. Walang iba kundi ang ating kaibigan mula sa Philippine Star, si Joey Villar. Magandang umaga, Joey.
Good morning, Com.
Maraming salamat at for solo flight ka ngayon, Joey. Kaya tayong dalawa ang magtatalaktakan dito. Joey, unang-una, bago tayo pumunta sa mga fast take issues, sabi ko nga, NBA Finals Game 4 ngayon. Nakita ko yung mga litrato mo ha, naka-berde ka. Alam ko na medyo meron kang ganung pagkiling. Pero hindi ko alam kung berde ng Lasal yun, berde ng Boston Celtics. Pero ang tanong ko sa iyo, ano sa tingin mo ito dito sa Game 4 ngayong araw na ito?
For me, I think the Boston Celtics will win because they found a way to neutralize Steph and Clay. Kahit papaano, hindi sila yung dating kayang-kaya nila. Tsaka ang Boston hindi tulad ng ng Mavs na kaya nilang brasuhin dahil lahat ng from top to bottom lumalaban sa depensa kasi ang Boston and they're more athletic kaya tingin ko. Tas siyempre yung fans.
Oo, grabe. Oo, grabe nga yung fans, no? Talagang nagrereklamo si Klay Thompson, si Steve Kerr dahil sa mga pinagsasasabi sa harap daw ng mga bata, no? Pero ako, I agree with you, ha? Ang Boston, I think yung kanilang size is going to be the big factor. Plus the fact that yung malalaki nila, kaya mag-switch Nakikita natin si Robert Williams, nag-switch out, nagko-close out even sa mga guards or even sa wingmen ng Golden State Warriors. At sa akin, yung kanilang lang ng problema, yung distance between during the screen role play. Kung nagawa ng paraan yun nung fourth quarter, kaya ang Boston lumayo And again, I think that will be something na kailangan tutukan ng Golden State. They did a very good job nung game 2 kung saan si Klay Thompson started to drive and then dish off, no? Pero nahuli na rin yun dahil nag-aabang naman yung weak side defense ng Boston. So I agree with you. I think napakalaki ng chance ng Boston na lumamang ng 3-1 dito. But sabi nga natin, bilog ang bola, no, Joey? At marami na tayong nakita mga sa NBA na pagkakataong hindi nangyari yon. Another na news na hindi ko pa nababanggit ay yung pagkapanalo ni Rafa Nadal ng kanyang ika-22 Grand Slam tournament pagkatapos na mapanalunan niya ang kanyang 14th title sa Roland Garros nung linggo. Ito ay ngayon nagbigay sa kanya ng pinakamaraming Grand Slam championships sa kasaysayan ng tennis. Joey, ang tanong ko sa iyo si Rafa Nadal ba na kaya ang greatest of all time sa tennis?
For now, until proven wrong, si Rafa. Kasi kahit siguro maging 100 years old siya kung kakayanin ng katawan niya, kaya pa niyang gugustuhin pa niyang maglaro. Pero for now, kailangan i-disprove muna ng mga darating kung hindi yon. But for now, yes, GOAT si
Rafa. Alright. Well, ako again, dahil sa bilang ng championships, tama ka. For now, 22 kontra 20 ni Roger Federer at 20 ni Novak Djokovic, mukhang lamang nga si Rafa Nadal. Pero may mga ibang nagsasabi na may ibang basihan ang pagiging greatest of all time. But ako, I agree with you. I think right now, Rafa is the greatest of all time. And of course, there are others who were ahead of him. Sila Rod Laver, sila Bjorn Borg. Napakarami niyan, no? But again, sa bilang ng championships, talaga namang pambihira ang nagawa ni Rafa Nadal. Alright, Joey, ready na tayo sa ating fast take at medyo nag-iinit na tayo sa ating usapan dito. Sabi ko nga, ikaw ang kaisa-isa kong iihawin ngayong araw na to. Kaya, again, bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, wag magagalit. Ito po ang fast take at ang opinion ni Joey Villar ang mahalaga. Ang ating unang issue, Joey, ay tungkol sa boxing. Alam natin na natalo si Nonito Donaire kay Naoya Inoue at biglang may rumesbak si Janriel Casimiro. Sabi niya, ako ang maghihiganti para sa iyo. Kaya ang tanong sa ating unang issue, si Janriel Casimiro na ba ang next best option ng Pilipinas sa bantamweight division o suntok pa sa buwan ang pangako niyang revenge para kay Nonito Donaire? 1 minute, Joey. Go!
I was talking to recently with my friend and boxing expert si JM Siasat ng GMA Online, and we agree that based on rankings, Inoue is number 1 in the division, number 2 Nonito, and number 3 Casimero. But if he's the next in line, but if he can beat Inoue, no. Malayo kasi yung pagkatalo ni Nonito, kinalaban niya iba to different monster to Kumbaga kahit natalo si Nonito, it's not that he lost to someone na ganun-ganun lang. Talagang ibang level tong Inoue na to. Nakita mo naman, sabi mo nga Kom, na ang bilis, ang lakas ng power, malapakyaw yung precision nung bata pa siya. So, kung si Casimero man kalabanin ni Inoue na pumayag siya, tingin ko the result would be the same. Matatalo rin siya kay Inoue.
Well, I totally agree with you. Alam mo, si Inoue, sabi ko nga kanina, is in a class of his own. In fact, sa pound-for-pound rankings, he's in the top 3 in many of those na naglalagay ng rankings ng pound-for-pound, no? Behind Terence Crawford. Sa akin, parang malayo Pangalawa, sa tingin ko, dapat bago magsasalita si Casimero ng ganyan, ayusin muna niya yung kanya sariling karir, no?
Right.
Ang dami ng pagkakamali, di ba, Joey? Alam ba yung mga pagkakamali niya kay Paul Butler? Ilang beses nang hindi natutuloy yan.
Well, yun na nga, isa pa yun. Kumbaga, without that, kahit naman in a normal world, kahit naman wala siyang problemang gano'n, labanan niya si Inoue, wala talaga. Iba yung Inoue.
Ay, nako. Kaya, well, iba yung tapang sa salita, iba yung tapang sa ring. Kaya tingnan natin. Pero, of course, Pilipino pa rin si Janriel. Ang aking lampayo sa kanya, hinay-hinay. Mag-ensayong mabuti at ayusin mo ang sarili mong karir. Alright, punta tayo sa ating second issue ng umagang ito. At ito ay tungkol sa isang paborito mong laro, volleyball, Joey. Alam natin na ngayon na naghahanda na ang UAAP para sa kanilang UAAP Volleyball Playoffs. Ika nga, na-sweep ng NU Lady Bulldogs ang UAAP eliminations. Kaya ang tanong, magtuloy-tuloy na kaya ang NU Lady Bulldogs sa championship o meron ba na kayang pumigil sa kanilang dynastic ambitions? Joey, 1 minute, go!
NU is definitely the team to beat, or the favorite to win the championship this season. But if you're asking if there are teams capable of beating them, meron. Kasi, kumbaga, out of those teams na nasa Final Four, kahit na natalo sila, meron dun. Ateneo, natalo sila sa NU ng 4 sets. Lasal, natalo ng straight sets. And yet, puro close yung sets na yon. Yung Adamson, naka-4th set sa NU. So, anyway, and even UST, yung mga talo nila talagang close fight So, kahit sino doon kayang talunin. Pero paborito ang NU. Pero sabi nga nila, Sir, na yung Ateneo nga, di ba? Pinag-uusapan natin na 3 months ago, who would have imagined na matatalo sila.
Tama.
Diba? So, samantalang ito kasi volleyball, kumbaga, depende rin sa gising minsan So, malay mo, mapipset, magulat yung NU, mawala yung confidence, napipset sila.
Tama yun. Well, actually, ang NU is talaga napakalakas, no? Napakalakas ng team na yun. Pero, sabi mo nga, marami ng beses na meron mga nangyayari during the game. Lalong-lalo na volleyball dahil ang volleyball naman nakasalalay yan sa ganda ng laro ng team more than anything else. Of course, there are individual stars, pero it's still very much more in terms of team togetherness, no, yung team play dahil andun yung depensa, andun yung blocking, andun din of course ang opensa. But of course, yung pagdadaanan ng ibang teams, Joey, medyo mabigat, no, considering step ladder ang mangyayari dito sa kanilang Final Four.
Yes, oo.
Alam po natin na ang Adamson muna magkaka-playoff with Ateneo, yung mananalo lalabanan ng UST. Meron bang twice to beat 'yon? Wala, no? Wala, one game lang 'yon, Joey. Wala.
Dire-diretso yun. Knockout yun.
Tapos yung laban ng mananalo doon, lalabanan ng Lasal, yun ang may twice to beat, no?
Yes. Oh.
Oo, so talagang medyo mabigat ang pagdadaanan kung ikaw ay Adamson, Ateneo, or UST. Pero yung Lasal kontra NU, mukhang mabigat yan. And I think if there's one team na dapat maging wari ang NU, it could be the Lady Archers, no? Yun ang malamang napakalakas na team din.
Correct ko.
Oh. Alright, third and final issue tayo. Joey, in a sport also that lagi kang nakatutok. Lately, napabalita na ang Filipino-born na ngayon ay Amerikano na si Wesley So, na sa aking kaisipan at puso, Pilipino pa rin, no? Si Wesley So ay lumaban po at nanalo against even a world champion like Magnus Carlsen. And of course, dun sa Netherlands, siya ay lumaban sa mga pinakamagagaling na mga chess players. Ang tanong, Joey, based on what you have seen lately, kaya ba ni Wesley So na maging world champion? 1 minute, Joey, go.
Si Wesley has the ability to become a world champion kasi yun nga, tinalo niya si Magnus Carlsen, the reigning world champion, not only once but twice. And 3 years ago, Wesley also beat Carlsen in the World Championship of Fisher Random. So, ibig sabihin, it's a different category ng chess. Pero chess pa rin. So, tinalo niya yun. Imagine mo, ang magiging problema lang, yung dadaanan niya papunta ron. Kasi marami siyang player na hirap siyang talunin. Tulad recently, si Batcher Lagrave ng France, si Mamedjarov ng Azerbaijan. So, kailangan hanapan niya yun. Tsaka isa pang dapat gawin niya, tingin ko, he should hire a battery of coaches to help him train. Kasi para lalo siyang gumaling. Kasi tsaka improve niya rin yung, alam ko naman fit si Wesley, so improve niya rin yung physicality niya. Kasi sa chess, hindi lang naman mind labanan din ng physical. Tulad sa Norway, ang ganda ng simula niya. Parang it seems na napagod siya, natalo siya ng 3 beses. So, ano yan, nasa physical aspect din yung paglalaro ng chess. Pag mahina katawan mo, mahina rin yung lalaroin mo. So, kailangan niya improve yung mga yon para maging world champion balang araw. Bata pa naman siya.
Well, ikaw ang eksperto dyan, Joey, na sinusundan ko ang mga takes mo and of course yung pagre-report mo sa chess. And I certainly believe sa lahat ng mga sinabi mo. Isa lang ang tanong ko sa iyo, Jo. Sa tingin mo ba may chance mag-repatriate itong si Wesley So sa pagiging Pilipino?
Siguro for now hindi kasi siguro pag tanda niya, na-board na siya, naging world champion na siya. In the future, 10 years from now, 20 years from now,
Oo.
pwede naman gawin yun maging double parang ganon yung visa.
Oo.
So, kasi ngayon, kumbaga, marami tayong sinisisi na official natin pero kung hindi siya nag-US kundi siya lumipat, hindi niya makarating yung yung level niya ngayon dahil siyempre, masama mang aminin, yung iba yung hindi siya mag-grow pag dito siya nagstay sa Pilipinas actually.
Oo. Well, sana nga kahit papano at the end of the day, at the end of his career, siya pa rin ay manumbalik bilang Pilipino. I'm sure he still feels a lot of it na pagiging Pilipino. Pero sabi mo nga, practical lamang ang ginawa niyang desisyon and he will not get to where he is right now kung wala dun sa mga pagkakataong binigay sa kanya ng US Chess. Joey, I know malaking bagay ito kaya magpapasalamat ulit ako sa iyo. Thank you for joining us this morning at more power sa Philippine Star.
Thank you, Com. Anytime.
Maraming salamat. Mga kaibigan ng ating kaibigan, Joey Villar, ng Philippine Star, ha? Yung mga takes natin on chess, on volleyball, ha? Of course, sa boxing. Ha? Alright mga kaibigan, before we take a break, isang paalala po mula sa ating mga kaibigan from Smart. Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page in your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The GigaLife app is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the GigaLife app do for me? Check your balance, monitor your current subscription, top up using debit credit card, subscribe to the latest Giga promos, monitor your data consumption, auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to Smart Network, one-tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. And of course, ang Power and Play is powered by Smart. When we come back, makakausap po natin ang kariretiro lamang na dating king mula sa Barangay Ginebra, JDV, Joe Devans sa Power and Play. Ito po ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, Chooks to Go at ng True Religion. Ang oras po natin, 8:32 ng umaga.
I dare to dream big, to be a voice of my generation, to inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai Stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day. Plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
Nag-uumapaw sa Real Chicken Juice na swak sa panlasa ng buong pamilya. Available in sweet roast, pepper roast, at harissa roast variants. Chooks to Go. Masarap kahit walang sauce. Tawag na sa Chooks to Go Delivery Hotline 8687-1010 o online sa chookstogodelivery.com or via GrabFood at Foodpanda.
Kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taon pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
In your life you have a star. So choose not to. Sa balindang barkada, GSM Blue ang kasama. We choose GSM Blue. Choose not strong. Dahil ito ang GSM Blue.
Drink responsibly. Choose to chill and enjoy the true flavors of Mojito, Margarita, Gin Pomelo, and Cosmopolitan with GSM Blue. Drink responsibly.
Ang oras, 8:34.
Ang oras sa Radyo 5 ay hatid sa inyo ng GSM Blue. Choose what's true. Choose GSM Blue.
Sa ilalim ng quarantine, anong buhay ba ang in-store?
Stuck at home?
With plans o with plans?
Sa work, nakalock-in ka ba?
O from home lang? O paubos na VL mo?
Sa gathering?
Group yourselves into 10 lang.
Sa pagkain, pa-deliver?
O from a distance, join in.
O team lutong bahay?
bahay.
Sa jeepney. Ala, sige, waluhan po yan. Pero, apatan lang ba muna? Bago gawin.
Mga bagay na dapat makasanayan sa new normal. Ang buhay na dapat harapin para ma-survive ang pandemya at pagsubok.
Because life goes on!
With face mask and face shield.
Kasama sina Laila Chicadora at Mon Gualvez.
Bagong gawin.
Monday to Friday, alas 4 hanggang alas 6 in the morning.
Dating gawi ka pa ba?
Move on na sa Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM.
Umpisa na ng salpukan!
Alonzo. Attack. Alonzo! Down!
Mga bago at veterano, game na sa mas matinding sagupaan!
Christian Orios. He will fire. If it goes,
Huwag na nating patagalin pa! Game na! PBA Season 47 Philippine Cup, Wednesdays to Sundays sa TV5 at One Sports. Magkakaalaman na sino ang mag-uuwi ng inaasam na kampyonato. NBA Finals live! Tutok na sa TV5! Always a fan of the NBA!
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
In the life you have us Sa baling barkada, GSM Blue ang kasama. We choose GSM Blue. Choose must try. Dahil ito ang GSM Blue.
Drink responsibly. Choose to chill and enjoy the true flavors of Mojito, Margarita, Jun Pomelo, and Cosmopolitan with GSM Blue. Drink responsibly.
Ang oras, 8:36.
Ang oras sa Radyo 5 ay hatid sa inyo ng GSM Blue. Choose what's true. Choose GSM Blue.
Umandana sa tapatan ng lakas ng tatlo. PBA 3x3 Third Conference this Saturday and Sunday sa One Sports.
Noli Iyala Power and Play sa Radyo 5 92.3 News FM. Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Before we continue, isa lang pong pagbati sa aking pamangkin, si Lance Cruz na nag-graduate kahapon. Nung isang araw ba o kahapon? Congratulations, Lance, sa UST. Sa wakas, natapos ka rin. Biro lang. Congratulations, Lance! Trabaho ka na dito. And of course, gusto ko pambatiin ng isang happy birthday si Olive Regner.
Happy birthday!
60th birthday daw ni Olive, milestone. Siya po ay nagkatrabaho sa Department of Budget and Management. Happy birthday, Olive. Also from your sister, si Dines. Binabati natin buong Aranilla Regner family. Kasama na po si Nanay Conching Aranilla na nanonood po ngayong araw pong ito. Magandang umaga po, Nanay. Pagaling po kayo. And sana po magkita-kita tayo muli. Alright, mga kaibigan. Pinag-uusapan ng pagkikita. Well, ang Hinebra po ay makikita na natin muli sa paglalaro sa Philippine Cup. Pero isang player ang inyong mamimiss. Mamimiss nating lahat. Isang fan favorite, naglaro ng 16 na season sa PBA, nanalo ng 12 kampyonato and an 8-time All-Star. He has decided to retire from the game as one of the best and one of the perhaps most adorable players na nakita natin sa PBA. Ito po ang panayam natin sa kariretiro lamang na si Joe Devance.
It's Joe on the show here. Joe Devance, our 12-time champion in the PBA and who's recently made his decision to retire from the game. Good to have you on the show, Joe. Thanks for joining us on Power and Play.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk to you. It's been a while.
It's been a while indeed. And I was half expecting that you would be on a boat doing a fishing trip and or enjoying your time with your children on the beach.
Yeah, not yet. Right now, I'm still on the grind mode right now, so no boats yet.
All right. Well, eventually we will see that coming. Of course,
For sure.
16 seasons in the PBA, Joe, and you finally decided to make the announcement to retire, and you look like you're so happy. There's no trace of any kind of pain in that decision.
Yeah.
What made you decide to retire right now, Joe?
Well, there was a little bit of sadness. Well, there was a lot of sadness, of course. Again, I gave the game everything I had. I gave it blood, sweat, tears, my knees, my feet. I gave it absolutely everything I could, and I feel like now is the time to really focus on family. My mom has her health issues. I spent so much time in dedicating myself to my craft. I feel like now is the perfect time to have that same dedication, but towards my kids. So I just feel like it's the right time now. We're all pretty happy here in America, and it's just time for that next step. Everybody's scared of the unknown, right? And it's the same situation with me. A little uneasy of the unknown. What's going to happen? How's it going to be? You know what I mean? But you just have to take that jump of faith, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, there's a side of you I know very, very well, and that is the family side. If I can tell a little bit of your secret, this guy, Joe Devance, is a super sweet husband that he gives flowers to his wife for no occasion whatsoever. And I know that because that's part of the business that I have, with my family. And,
Yes.
And Joe has been a client for so long. So I know that part. And when you said in your announcement that, it's time for you to be with your family, I had absolutely no doubt that was on your mind. How is your family? How is Monica reacting to this? Your children, of course, your 4 lovely kids, and of course your mom.
Well, I think my mom's taking it kind of hard. It's actually my wife and my mom that's actually taking it kind of hard. Because with me, I get sad and emotional, but it's on the inside. But I have that mentality of I got to keep moving forward. But my wife and my mom, they don't have that same mentality, so they're they still get emotional and stuff like that. My kids also were sad because they know that's all I did, right? Like they know me as Daddy the basketball player,
Right.
So
right.
yeah. So they're a little sad, but at the same time they're so excited to move to America. So I mean, kids, they don't really.
Right. Yeah,
So,
they will adjust for sure.
yeah, they'll adjust for sure. So
Yeah, but
my mom, she started crying when I mentioned it to her. My dad is still kind of in denial. He was like, "No, Jay, you don't go back. No, Jay, you don't go back. You don't go back." I'm like, "No,
oh boy, my goodness. Was it really the plan? I mean, you played for 16 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You started in the PBA in 2007, but of course you were there earlier, played in the PBL, and of course you qualified as the number one you were the number 1 pick in 2007, and you've been playing for 16 seasons in the PBA. Was that really your plan from the very beginning, that at age 40, Joe Devance is retiring, or did you exceed your expectations when you first planned to join the PBA?
To be honest, and I say this very humbly, I exceeded all expectations only because I came into the league really unsure of myself. I didn't know how well I was going to do. It was more of that jump of faith. I'm just going to go out there and see what I could do. I wasn't mayabang about it when I first came into the league. I'm still not mayabang. I'm just saying, like, I just really came into the Philippines with an open mind, unsure of myself, but ready to work.
You were a 12-time champion, an 8-time All-Star, a 3-time PBA Mythical Second Team selection, of course, all the other accolades that you've gotten in terms of your individual achievements. Obviously, as you said, you are blessed. But when you came into the PBA and you were talking about the exceeding expectations, what did you feel like you wanted to achieve for yourself? I'm sure as a young rookie, you had all of these. You had the whole world to yourself. But what were you thinking then when you entered the PBA as a top pick? Was there a particular goal that you set for yourself, and now you're saying that you exceeded?
It was when I came into the league, Jay Washington, right? Everybody knows Jay Washington. He was like the barometer, right?
The top dog.
Yeah, he was the top dog. So I came in, I was like, oh man, this dude is really good, right? So I kind of like, that was even me personally, that was my barometer, Jay Wash. I don't even know if I've ever told him that. Yeah, so coming into the league, I was like, all right, I gotta try my best to get up to his level, and even before that, I was practicing with San Miguel, so I had mentors like Nick Velasco, Danny Siegel, Dorian Pena, Olsen Rosella, so all these guys, before I even joined the PBL, I was practicing with these guys. I was seeing the life that they lived and all the glory that they had and all that. And it was like, wow, can I get that? You know what I mean? And it was just one of those things where I always I doubted myself, but I never quit. I was always unsure of myself, but I kept going one foot in front of the other, and I just kept on going, And 16 years later and 12 championships,
Unbelievable.
Who would have thought?
Absolutely. It's just an amazing story that you had actually trained with the San Miguel players even before you got you got to play with them.
Pretty crazy.
Because when you look at your career, obviously you ended your career with the San Miguel organization, but when you started, of course, with Wellcoat back in 2007 and then traded to Alaska a year later, you've been under only one other coach other than Tim Cone, and that was, of course, Kaloy Garcia back in your days in Wellcoat. But obviously, that was an experience. But Tim Cone is like, you're like a stalker, or he's a stalker. I don't know who's stalking who.
No,
but why did you click, Joe? Why did you click with Tim? What do you think?
Honestly, he saw something. He saw something in me before anybody, even myself. Even he just saw something in me that nobody else saw, And luckily, he was able to get it out. I'm sure it wasn't easy for him, because we've had a lot of yelling matches and stuff. I mean, more on his side. I don't. But it was one of those things where at the time, I don't want to say I was being, I'm young. I didn't mind getting yelled at. Like, that didn't hurt my feelings or anything like that. I was still, because I'm from the States, that's very normal. So I think just with that mentality, it's what helped me grow, and it's what helped me grow into who I became. And I just think it was an understanding of this coach he's coming from a good place. It's not like he's trying to tear me down. He's not trying to mess up my career. I just had full trust in Coach Tim, and that's where the relationship really started.
And that's an important point, because Tim has said, now that you've made that announcement, he feels naked without you in the team. Of course, we don't want to see Tim naked, obviously. but the question I have for you is, you talked about life lessons that you've learned. What is the most important life lesson that Coach Tim is taught you?
Yes, see, that's an easy question. I try to teach my wife this. I try to teach some of my kids this, and this one is really hard to kind of grasp. because especially right now where there's a lot of people that's kind of selfish in this world and stuff like that, right? So one of the biggest lessons that he's taught me, and it's a John Maxwell thing, is put a 10 on everybody's forehead, right? So really, so what's that saying is, think the best in people,
right?
You know, and honestly, that is something that I cherish, because I hold great value in relationships. So for me, I'm a relationship guy, right? So me thinking the best in people is, you know, and sometimes it might not always work out, you know, but just going into a meeting or going into somewhere where you have the best thoughts of everybody, just for me, it cheers me up. It keeps me happy. You know what I mean? And I feel like if everybody can have that mentality, the world would be a little bit better until they can prove otherwise. You know what I mean? So that's one of the lessons that he's taught me. Put a 10 on everybody's forehead. And honestly, I live my life like that every day.
You've been through so much in your career. When I look at your numbers, you know, this is a very checkered career, no? But one of your best years was, of course, when you were with Alaska, and the year was 2011. You played a total of almost 37 minutes a game for the Aces at that time. You were averaging your highest in your career, 16.5 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 3.5 assists in that particular year. And then you actually, you know, by some reports, they said that you forced the trade, that you wanted to get to Star, to Pure Foods at that time.
Yeah.
How significant do you think was that particular decision of yours? Because it seemed like you knew exactly what you wanted to do in your career. How significant was that moving forward in your career?
Yeah, it was at that point in time, I felt at Alaska we were winning, right? But we weren't winning a lot of championships, right? But we were winning a lot of games. We were making it to finals. And it was just one of those things where we were kind of stagnant. We were kind of stuck, you know. And you know, as a player, as a coach, as a person, sometimes you need a new change. You need a new change in scenery and life and stuff like that. And I just felt like at that time it was the right decision. And you know, looking back at it, I mean, everything played out perfectly, you know. And I don't take anything back from Alaska, because those were probably the greatest learning. That was the start of my growth period. You know what I mean? And
then you transferred, of course, to the San Miguel organization, starting with Pure Foods, and then, of course, to Ginebra, and you ended your career in Ginebra. When you compare those organizations, Joe, and I know you've been, you know, you're very much a part of them. Whenever you get into something, you're always the acknowledged leader.
Yeah.
You know, you're one of the guys that really participate in many of the programs of the organizations. What was the impact of these organizations, Alaska, Pure Foods, and even Ginebra, on your career and on your person?
Yeah, so I mean, luckily, I always had Coach Tim by my side, because he always believed in me. So I feel like the fact that he had great belief in me is what helped the management believe in me as well. To be honest, I don't think if Coach Tim wouldn't have went to the San Miguel group also, I wouldn't have maybe been as glorified or whatever it is as I was, you know. I probably wouldn't have been named the leaders of the team, the captain of the team, and stuff like that. So I mean, again, everything happens for a reason, and all my teams that I've been a part of have been great in their own way. Because even I have great memories from Wellcoat, and we won like 3 games that year. You know what I mean? Like, we was really, really bad, but it was one of my greatest memories, because the fun we had at practice, even though we were losing. I mean, it just kind of blew every year after that out of the water. Like, we had a lot of fun, even though we were horrible.
Well, that's a cool way of saying it, and obviously you had so much fun with that. You know, and my next point is really about your owners, because you were under for a long time. Because in Wellcoat you stayed only for a year, but you were under two really captains of industry, pioneers in their own field. This is Fred Huytengsu, of course, of Alaska, and Ramon Ang of San Miguel.
Right.
You know, what are the best lessons that you picked up from these two team owners in the PBA?
Well, Fred for sure is professionalism. That's just what he's known for. Just being so professional and on top of it. And I take great pride in being a professional. I wasn't, as a person, you have your days where you kind of don't feel like hearing stuff or whatever, but for the most part, I really conducted myself as a true professional, and that's what I learned from boss Fred. Now, Mr. Ong, he's a wild card. You know, Mr. Ong, Mr. Ong is out there. He has a kind spirit, full of energy. You know, his stories are really, really amazing, right? And
riveting. You know, yeah, right.
Yeah. His vision is so big. I love to hear his stories because it's like, man, it like could that be me one day? You know what I mean? And I mean that's very far fetched, but that's how he inspired me. And again, his stories are great. Hopefully.
You played with some of the best players in the history of the PBA, and when you look at that, it's an all-star cast, future Hall of Famers, all of them. But you know, obviously, you there were more players that had more impact on yourself, more influence. If you talk about that, which among your teammates probably had the most influence in you and in the way you played the game?
I would probably say Tony Dela Cruz. Coach, because when I first went to Alaska, it was Jeff Carriazo and Tony Dela Cruz. Those two were like the leaders of that team, right? And Coach Tim was really good back then at holding players accountable, and how he held them accountable. It was something that I was always seeing and trying to understand. And me and Tony were super, super close, like brothers. And we've had so many fights and so many arguments because he's the leader, right? He's the captain, and I'm this young guy, like trying to learn things myself and stuff like that. So there was a lot of learning lessons with that, and I would say I've learned a lot from Tony. But one other person, and I would probably say Saul Mercado, and I would say Saul Mercado because he's taught me patience. He taught me patience because of how his personality, his character trait. He's so passionate. He's so fiery, right? You have to, and this is the thing too that I learned from Coach Tim. You can't treat everybody the same. You know what I mean? People have egos. People have, you know, some bigger than others, right? And that was one thing that I had to learn was you kind of have to talk to people differently, and because some people can't take things how another person can, you know. And so with Saul, I've learned great patience, and I thank him for that. And he's grown so much as well, right? But I mean, to be honest, I've had a lot of mentors, even people that I haven't been teammates with, like Dorian. I was brief teammates with Nick Velasco, Harvey Carey, Jimmy Alapag, even Jared Dillinger. Now, you know, I mean, I've learned so much from these guys, and they've helped me out so much throughout their career. I don't even know if they even know it. Like, I don't know.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, but yeah.
You know, one great name, of course, that you were teammates with in Ginebra, who is also retiring together with you, is MC47. Martin Hiwa is, of course, a legend in the PBA, one of the most popular players that ever played. Tell us a little bit about about Mark, and what can you say about his impact on Ginebra and his impact on the game?
I mean, he's a legend. People that really know Mark up close, they know how he is. He is the silliest person ever. He is the silliest person ever, right? But you get him on that basketball court, and he's a killer. He wants to hit the last shot. He wants to get all the points he can on you. Like it's a domination thing with him, and he wants to dominate, right? So just to say I was teammates with him for 5-6 years is, I mean, he's a legend, a living legend, and I honestly believe that. And I tell him, and I tell him this not to boost his ego, but for him, because I don't think he really realizes. He doesn't realize like the stuff, how people adore him, how people just look up to him. He doesn't realize it, and I think that's one of the reasons why when he retired, it was more of a quiet thing. Like, I'm just gonna go out. And I tried to talk to him and be like, look, man, these fans love you. They spent most of their life idolizing you, looking up to you. You know what I mean? Like, you should like try to think about like really giving back. This would be the last time you can really give back to them, and I'm sure they would really love it and appreciate it. But he's kind of a shy person and kind of just to himself. That's just not his. That's not.
And that's why he's so great. You know, he
exactly.
It's his play on the floor that makes him great. I mean, nothing else.
Yes.
There are no other controversies, no other little
nothing.
things.
He didn't get in trouble, nothing like that. He just played the game. He played the game the same way.
And now you're seeing, of course, with you gone and Mark leaving the team and some other people obviously getting of age,
getting close.
We see the rise of Scotty Thompson, the MVP for this year. Just tell me about Scotty, and where do you think is he going to lead Ginebra, and how what is the limit for Scotty Thompson?
Well, honestly, if there was anybody on that Ginebra team that's going to pass my 12 championships, it's going to be Scotty. Especially if he's going to stay with Ginebra, and he's going to stay with Coach Tim probably his whole career. But to be honest, the things that he does in the games, he does in practice every day. You know, there was some stuff going around about him and all that, about his personal life, which, I don't, even me as his teammate, I don't want to get all into that because that's his personal life. He never brought it to the basketball court. It was, as soon as he stepped on the court, he was all about business, So, I mean, and knowing Scotty's personality and who he is as a person, he's a great person.
Well, I have a few minutes here, and I want to go back to your now career that is retired, and But when you look back at your career, Joe, is there anything that you weren't able to accomplish? Is there something that you regret about your career? Like, for instance, you never made Mythical first team.
Yeah.
You were a ton in the Mythical second team.
Yeah.
The national team, of course, in Gilas. Was also something that's missing in your resume. Are those things that you sort of wish you could have done?
Yeah, I mean, I don't sit down and like dwell on it, but it was one of those things where I would have loved to have been a part of the national team, because again, that's like the highest honor as an athlete for you to play for your country, right? And you're playing for more than, it's bigger than just you. It's bigger than yourself. So that would have been a great honor to have been a part of that, but. That was one of the reasons why I first came out, and maybe if I would have came out in better shape and all of that stuff, then, who knows, I probably would have made the team or whatever. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't, even not winning an MVP or on the first Mythical team, it's fine. How many people can say they have 12 championships?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it is what it is. It's a give and take.
And obviously, that's what brings in the food on the table. So
exactly.
I wouldn't exchange that for anything.
Exactly.
Teammate. Biggest takeaway from the PBA, now that you're retiring, Joe, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned from the PBA?
Just valuing relationships. and enjoying the moment. Those two things, because again, as a player, not all players are going to be lucky enough to play 16 years, right? And have a great career. It could just be one of those things where let me just see where basketball takes me, or you know what I mean? And some players might stay for a year, 2, 3, 5, and then have to go back home or whatever, you know? So just enjoying the process, enjoying the moment.
What's next for Joe Devance? Because we've been hearing about an offer for you to be an assistant coach, which we also heard you have refused, at least for the time being. What's next for Joe Devance professionally?
Professionally, well, as of right now, I really just want to spend time with my kids.
You know, talking about your career and your fans and all the people who will miss you, Joe. How do you want your fans to remember you by as a legacy that you leave behind in your career in the PBA?
Man, that's a great question. I would like for them to think of me as, for number one, a great person. Number two, a great teammate, right? And man, I'm getting a little sentimental just kind of thinking about it. I just want people to know that I cared for other people, and that's what made me sacrifice. I mean, that's it. That's what made me sacrifice. I cared for my teammates. I cared for their families. I was willing to do everything I could possibly do to win, to help all of our families out, you know, and that was I wanted to be the best that I could possibly be. It wasn't necessarily to win an MVP or anything like that. It was just to be the best that I could be. And that's what I would like for people to remember me as a great person, a great teammate, and somebody that cared.
Well, we will remember you with those three characteristics, and certainly I know you as that, and you have contributed to the game, and I think the game will never forget you. Thank you so much, Joe, for the time you've given us today.
My gosh, thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Yan po mga kaibigan, tunay na kampyon on and off the court. Joe Devance, ang kariretiro lamang na Barangay Ginebra King. Ngayon, mag-i-enjoy na siya. Kasama ng kapiling ng kanyang pamilya and of course ng kanyang ina na ngayon po ay may sakit. Kaya po, we're also wishing all the best sa kanilang pamilya and of course sa kanyang mother and of course to Joe Devance. Bago tayo lumipat sa susunod natin pong guest, silipin muna natin ang ilang nakakatuwang moments sa pop culture at sa viral videos sa mundo ng sports sa Stop and Pop.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Ang susunod po nating clip sa Stop and Pop ay tungkol sa isang liga dito po sa Pilipinas na na-feature pa sa Sports Center sa Amerika. Panoorin po natin ito Ang tanong dito, travel ba o counted? Kayo na ang humusga. Travel ba o counted yung tira? Yun tumatumbling? Aliw na aliw mga netizens sa video na yan kung saan makikitang nagtumbling ang isang kuya sa fast break play bago mag-layup. Pasok naman ang tira pero ang tanong, counted ba? Travel o counted? Ano sa tingin nyo sa ating Stop and Pop moment? Ang ganda, no? Alright mga kaibigan, we will take a quick break. Babalik pa po ang Power and Play. Ang ating po mga kasama, SJ Belangel mula sa Ateneo patungo sa Korea. Ito po ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, Chooks to Go at ng True Religion. Ang oras po natin, 9 na minuto makalaan ng 9 ng umaga.
I dare to dream big, to be a voice of my generation, to inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Follow Kai Stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day. Plus data for all sites.
Simple. Smart ako.
Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
Nag-uumapaw sa real chicken juice na swak sa panlasa ng buong pamilya. Available in sweet roast, pepper roast, at harissa roast variants. Chooks to go. Masarap kahit walang sauce. Tawag na sa Chooks to Go Delivery Hotline 8687-1010 o online sa chookstogodelivery.com or via GrabFood at Foodpanda.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom! Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Ang oras, 9:11. Ang oras sa Radyo 5 ay hatid sa inyo ng Rhea Generics. Rhea, basta kalusugan, maasahan mo.
Ingeloxin po, paano nabubuo ang tiwala? Kapag nangako at hindi binigo, pangako ng Rhea Generics, ang pangkaraniwang Pilipino ay magkaroon ng kakayahang bumili ng mga tunay na world-class na kalidad ng gamot. Kapartner namin ang mga kilalang eksperto sa buong mundo. Kaya maaasahan mo na ang kalidad, husay at bisa ng Rhea Generics ay kapareho ng mga branded na gamot. Ganyan tumupad ng pangako ang Rhea Generics. Ang galing ng mundo, dinala sa Pilipino. Rhea, basta kalusugan, maaasahan mo.
Ang Rhea Generics ay gawa ng Pfizer, Viatris, Sanofi, GSK, Otsuka, Merck, Fresenius Kabi, AstraZeneca, OEP Philippines, Lundbeck at Boehringer Ingelheim. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Rhea Generics. Rhea, basta kalusugan, maasahan mo.
Sa bandang barkada, GSM Blue ang kasama. We choose GSM Blue. Choose must try. Dahil ito ang GSM Blue.
Drink responsibly. Choose to chill and enjoy the true flavors of Mojito, Margarita, Jun Pomelo, and Cosmopolitan with GSM Blue. Drink responsibly.
Ang oras, 9:12.
Ang oras sa Radyo 5 ay hatid sa inyo ng GSM Blue. Choose what's true. Choose GSM Blue.
Umpisa na ng salpukan! Balonzo. Attack! Balonzo! Down! Mga bago at veterano, game na sa mas matinding sagupaan! Christian Orios, he will fire. It goes with Huwag na nating patagalin pa! Game na! PBA Season 47 Philippine Cup, Wednesdays to Sundays sa TV5 at One Sports.
Mel Gianco po, Pilipinas. Bakit iba ang Rhea Generics? Ang Rhea Generics ay isang pangako na ang pangkaraniwang Pilipino ay magkaroon ng kakayahang bumili ng mga tunay na world-class na kalidad na gamot. Kapartner namin ang mga kilalang eksperto sa buong mundo. Kaya maaasahan mo na ang kalidad, husay at bisa ng Rhea Generics ay kapareho ng mga branded na gamot. Kanyan tumupad ng pangako ang Rhea Generics. Ang galing ng mundo, dinala sa Pilipino. Rhea, basta kalusugan, maaasahan mo.
Ang Rhea Generics ay gawa ng Pfizer, Viatris, Sanofi, GSK, Otsuka, Merck, Fresenius Kabi, AstraZeneca, OEP Philippines, Lundbeck at Boehringer Ingelheim. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Rhea Generics. Rhea, basta kalusugan, maasahan mo. Ang oras, 9:13. Ang oras sa Radyo 5 ay hatid sa inyo ng Rhea Generics. Rhea, basta kalusugan, maasahan mo.
Broadcasting live from TV5 Media Center. 25,000 watts ng balita, impormasyon, serbisyo. DWFM Radyo 5. Radyo 5. 92.3 News FM. News FM.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng GSM Blue. Choose what's true. Choose GSM Blue.
Noli Iyala Power and Play sa Radyo 5 92.3 News FM.
Bago po natin ipasok ang ating susunod na guest, isang pasasalamat lamang sa lahat po ng mga tagapagtaguyod ng Power and Play. Cherry Loom! Ang yerong may aluminum sa ganitong pabago-bago ang panahon, mga kapatid. Sobrang init tapos biglang uulan. Kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tsak na pang matagalan. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum. Yan ang Cherry Loom, tibay protektado sa pang matagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum.
Thank you!
Cherry Tigo, saluhin ang swerteng hatid ng Year of the Tiger. Own a brand new Tigo 2 Pro crossover with Cherry's Year of the Growling Tigo promo. Sa halagang 68,000 low down payment, may sporty 5-seater ka na safe in any road condition dahil mas mataas ang ground clearance nito kaysa sedan. Spacious din ang seats at legroom kaya mas komportable mapa-driver or passenger. May 9-inch infotainment system pa na pwedeng i-connect sa MirrorLink and Apple CarPlay para mas convenient at chill ang travel mo. Pili na from the 6 lucky colors of Tigo 2 Pro: Passion Orange, Lava Red, Graphite Gray, Vivid White, Tuscan Beige at Laser Yellow. Hashtag move for more colors and adventure. Bisitahin ang www.cherryauto.ph to know more about the fun-to-drive Tigo 2 Pro.
Thank you!
Chooks to Go, ang nag-iisang manok ng bayan. Subukan ang kanilang pinakabagong oven-roasted chicken na mas pinasarap dahil sa nag-uumapaw na flavorful chicken juice. And of course, bisitahin ang Chooks, the first dine-in restaurant ng Chooks to Go. Matatagpuan po dyan sa Robinsons sa Lipa, Batangas. Chooks to Go, ang nag-iisang manok ng bayan. True Religion is in the Philippines. True Religion, where passion meets power. Experience it firsthand. For your best style choices, visit True Religion at Conrad S. Maison, Samoa Complex, Resorts World Manila, and Hacienda Designer Outlet sa Silang, Cavite. True Religion, where passion meets power. Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Magpadala with confidence kahit para sa negosyo o personal bulk deliveries man yan. Kayang-kaya yan i-deliver securely with Joyride. Of course, subukan po natin ang motorcycle taxi ng Joyride at ang kanilang latest, ang Joyride Car. So, download the latest Joyride Super App now.
Thank you!
Elms Seafood Paluto, the latest offering of the Elms Resto Bar Group, located at Unit 2 Ground Floor, Calle Bistro, Ever Commonwealth, Quezon City. Enjoy their delectable seafood menu in a relaxed, casual dining atmosphere for your Salo-Salo seafood meal. Elms Seafood Paluto. Skin, your face and body anti-aging center, with branches at Alabang Town Center and Green Hills, San Juan. For your skin assessment and treatment schedule, call 0917-890-1640 or 0977-809-8886.
Thank you!
ASEA Subic Beach Resort. Experience the getaway that you deserve and dive into limitless happenings, rejuvenating experiences, and gastronomic adventures. ASEA Subic Beach Resort.
Thank you!
And of course, Power and Play is powered by Smart. Live Smart! Marami po salamat sa lahat ng ating mga tagapagtuguyod. Isa nga pala, isang pagbati sa San Pablo Colleges for celebrating their 75th Diamond Anniversary. Congratulations sa lahat po ng officials, administrators, faculty, and teachers ng San Pablo Colleges. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, well, ang ating po susunod na guest, live ngayong araw pong ito, ang dating Ateneo Blue Eagle at ngayon po ay ready na maging professional basketball player. Walang iba kung hindi si San Joseph, SJ Belangel. Good morning, SJ!
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me today.
Maraming salamat for joining us this morning live on Power and Play. Again, SJ, congratulations on a terrific season sa UAAP. Bagamat hindi ka umabot sa kampyonato, still it was a tremendous final series at napakagandang season for the Ateneo Blue Eagles. But of course, the big news is ang yung pagpunta sa Korea. So from the horse's mouth, tuloy na ka na ba, SJ, papuntang Daegu Kogas ng KBL?
As of now po, naka-focus muna po tayo sa Gilas as of the moment because we have a game this upcoming on the 15th against Korea. Then we're playing against New Zealand on the 29th, then back here on the July 3rd. Then after that, I'm just gonna finish my graduation. Then tuloy-tuloy na tayo sa Kogas.
Alright. So yun talaga ang chronological order ng iyong mga susunod na araw. It's really Gilas, and then finishing your schooling, and you have finished your graduating. Actually, yung 2-year eligibility mo is really more for playing if you had taken your master. So, ang tanong, SJ, is because hindi mo na nga tutuloy, you are forgoing that eligibility, bakit ka nag-decide mag-pro at this time in your career?
For me, it's a calling for me because I've been praying since the time ng pandemic na to have a blessing. And for me, back then, dream ko talaga maglaro internationally. So, with that, during that pandemic, it's kinda parang yung tipong huminto lahat eh. So, madami kang iniisip, stuff like that, kapag paano ka ma-improve yung game and paano ka mag-improve talaga. So, for me, with the help of my coaches and players, so doon na nangyari na nagkakatotoo yung lahat ng players ko na sana meron namang basketball na makapaglaro ako and na-call up ako nung Gilas that time. So, answered prayers as well. Then, right now, isang answered prayers ulit na nangyari. So, ayun, may nag-offer sa akin, which is, right now, in Korea. And for me, it's a blessing. And I wouldn't sacrifice that for anything naman because I know with God's grace and blessings, I'm in good hands with them. So,
SJ, ang tanong ko, bakit hindi PBA? Bakit KBL ang napili mo?
For me, siguro, it's parang it's my time na parang mag-explore outside first because I've been dreaming to play internationally nga since then because iba yung laro sa Europe and syempre sa Asia, which is Korea, and nasabi nga ng former PBA import na si Kuya Raj na iba talaga yung laruan sa Korea. So, it's more systemic. So, for me, magandang exposure yun. It's growth for me as a player and not as well a growth for me, but syempre, I'm representing the country there as well.
Correct.
So, magandang exposure yun for me. So, that's why I choose to play there.
You will be the first Filipino sa KBL, and that's really a tremendous honor. Malikot lang ang utak ko, but let me ask you, if you had won the UAAP Championship in season 84, would you have decided to turn pro or itutuloy mo just so that the Ateneo run will continue? Would that have changed your decision, SJ?
It's something siguro na it's a tough decision na ngayon siguro mas sobrang pa sigurong matagal-tagal sigurong isip-isipan yan na sobrang hirap mag-decide kasi right now it's a tough decision for me. It's a big decision. What if nag-champion pa kami tapos kasama pa yun sa decision. So,
sige, hindi ko na papahirapan
really tough decision. But, yun ganun nangyari. So,
Well, anong sabi ni Coach Tab? Did you consult him? Who did you consult, by the way? Pamilya mo? Administrators in the Ateneo? Who else ang mga pinagtanungan mo?
First of all, syempre, my family. Because they're the ones na andun lagi sa journey ko since then. Since bata pa ako, they're the ones who supported me throughout the way. Pinalaki ako ng maayos ng mga magulang ko. And I went to Coach Tab right away after that. And to be honest, yun nga, Coach Tab wanted me to stay. But for me, it's my personal growth and development. So it's a great opportunity to play. So for me, I just grab it. But at the same time, kahit ganun man mangyari, sabi nga ni Coach Tab, once an eagle, always be an eagle.
Yeah.
So support everyone. Everyone still supports me throughout my journey because that's what matters is the memories behind na sinama nyo with the coaches. And not only Coach Tab, but also everyone in the Ateneo community, like Boss MVP, my teammates, and everyone na mga management sa Ateneo. Kinausap ko rin.
All right. Well, let's talk about your stint, although it will still be a few months away. But let's talk about the KBL, SJ. How are you? Ikaw ba mahilig ka unang-una sa Korean food o sa Korean drama? How are you preparing for the adjustment dito sa bagong career mo? Lalong-lalo na in a country like Korea na, you know, hindi lahat ng tao doon may konting communication gap.
For me, natuto kasi ako sa sa kapatid ko kasi everyday BTS army siya kasi. So everyday pagkagising ko yun kagad yung kanta. Then mga pandemic life, syempre puro tayo Netflix. So puro Korean drama. So doon ako natuto ng onte. So at the same time, I just have to learn na yung mga counting words. Syempre lahat naman nagdadaan sa hirap pero kakayanin naman konting kembot pa sa K-drama.
Alright, yung Daegu Kogas Korean Gas Company, corporation, yung sasalihan mong team. Have you talked to them? Do you know this team? Alam natin ang record dito, 27. They finished 6th last season. Natalo sila dun sa playoffs. But this is a team that is fairly new dahil they just bought a franchise recently. What do you know? What else do you know about them? Nakausap ka na ba nila about your role sa Kogas when you start playing with the team?
Actually, nakapag-usap naman kami, pero maganda talaga pagkausap ko sila face-to-face. So, right now, they just tell me on the things I need to do, yung mga processing. Yun pa lang as of the moment. Then, at the same time, kapag nagkita na kami, doon na kami mag-usap-usap as a team itself. So, as of right now, I'm just happy na maraming din bago, hindi lang ako, di ba? So, andun din yung kalaban ko na si Lee Dae-sung, nakakuha lang din nila. Nakaka-recruit din, nakalaban ko sa national team and magkakalaban kami ulit sa 15th at pagpunta namin dun sa Korea. So, I'm just excited na to meet them. And at the moment, processing pa lang, pero at the same time, I'm excited to meet everyone. Especially the coaches. Pero nag-usap naman kami. Yeah.
Isa dyan sa mga player na yan, si Kim Nak-hyun, na nakalaban mo rin, na all of a sudden, he is going to be out because of a mandatory military service. So, ikaw ngayon ang papalit sa kanya bilang number 1 point guard ng Pegasus, no? Yung Kogas Pegasus. But, when you look at that team, what are you hoping to achieve personally sa'yo, sa growth mo as you play dun sa Korea?
Basically for me, I just want to learn first the system of Korea. And at the same time, I just have to fill my role there. Kapag ano lang sasabihin ng coaches, yun yung gagawin ko. Because we all know it's a tough team, tough league, and there are many tough teams there. So with that, I just have to, like I usually do my best and just give my 100% every time I step on the court and listen to the coaches. And I know everything will go well if you follow your coaches and follow the system.
It is a historic stint para sa iyo sa KBL. You will be the first Filipino na import dyan sa KBL, and obviously that will open the doors to many others, kagaya ng ginawa ni 3rd Ravenna nung siya ay naglaro sa Japan B-League. What does it mean to you personally na ikaw yung kauna-unahan na maglalaro sa Korea?
For me, parang na-inspire ako pag ganun na every time I see someone who looks up on you. So parang it gives you extra motivation to every time you step on that court, you represent something. You represent someone, you represent everyone. And right now, as everyone said, I'm going to be the first Asian import, Filipino import na to play in Korea. And for me, every time I step on that court, kapag naglalaro na ako, it's everyone here, every young athlete who's inspiring to play in Korea and in any international countries. Yun. Parang it gives me extra motivation to do more and give my best.
Nakakatuwa yung sinabi mo at the start of this interview na sinabi mong, again, ang una mong focus is Gilas. So, I suppose the commitment to Gilas will always be there. Ang tanong ko lang, SJ, is that part of your contract na kapag tinawag ka ng national team, ikaw ay willing, ready, and able to play at ikaw ay re-release ng Kogas?
Yeah, that's syempre as we all know naman, everyone wants to play in our national team. Since it's my dream din back then talaga nung bata pa ako. Panahon pa nila ni Coach Jimmy Alapag, grabe, nasa province pala ako nanonood, and I'm wearing that Pilipinas jersey all the time while watching. Then right now I'm just living my dream. Then once na-call up lang talaga, it's a matter of the fact na I'm blessed enough to play for the country. And just like any other Asian import sila ni Manong 30, Manong Kiefer, na every time nag-call up sila ni Dwight, lalaro din. So, at the same time, we're the same.
Well, we are certainly expecting that marami pa rin sa mga fans mo ang maghahanap sa iyo to be in that national team uniform. Talking about fans, maraming Ateneo fans ang of course nangangamba, no? Worried, concerned na with you leaving, with some other guys, those that have turned pro. This is a brand new team that will be coming into a season this year ulit, matutuloy na naman yung season 85 in October. Do you think Ateneo is still going to be a strong contender, SJ, without you and the rest of the team, or rest of the pros in the Blue Eagle lineup? For me it's a yes, because with Coach Tab there, Ateneo talaga will be a strong contender for me, because as we all know that we don't rely on one person. It's everyone who steps in the court, gives their effort talaga. So with that, for me, I expect naman everyone to play their best. Whether or not may mga injuries, may mga lumabas, may bago, it's what they call next man up nga. So it's always there for us, and I wish them all the best. Syempre, nagsusupport pa rin naman ako as syempre, galing ako Ateneo and I graduated there na. So I'm just gonna be watching and still supporting, and I still believe that they're gonna be a strong contender with veterans like David Defonso and Angelo Kwame is there. My special mention to BJ Andrade who went back pa. So they're gonna be a strong contender. All right.
I believe.
Well, as a final parting question dito, SJ, ano ba ang mamimiss mo the most pag punta mo sa Korea? Ano ang mamimiss mo dito sa Pilipinas?
Traffic ba? Joke lang. Siyempre, everyone here, especially at the Ateneo community, my teammates, my coaches, and siyempre, mamimiss ka rin yung girlfriend ko nandito. Di ba?
Aba, iiwan mo talaga. Wow, okay. Wow.
So, I'll miss the food. Sana meron dun Pinoy food na makakain din ako ng Pinoy, as, di ba? Meantime na andun ako sa Korea, naglalaro. But I'll miss the atmosphere here sa Pilipinas. And I'll miss all the Filipino fans kapag naglalaro sa such as Samoa and sa Araneta every October and September. So, with that, I wish you guys all the best and sana supportahan niyo rin ako.
I'm sure they will.
Sa Korea.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure everyone will miss you. And pagdadasal ka namin, SJ, because malaking karangalan. Ang karangalan mo, karangalan ng bayan. And of course, we're hoping na maganda ang iyong magiging career at paglalaro sa Korea. Kamsahamnida, ika nga. And we wish you all the best. Good luck. We'll see you soon, SJ. Maraming salamat sa iyong panahon.
Thank you po. Thank you so much po.
Alright. Yan po mga kaibigan, ang dating Ateneo Blue Eagle ngayon ay patungo na sa kupunan niya, yung Daegu Korea Gas Corporation Kogas Pegasus team sa KBL para sa kauna-unahang Pinoy na maglalaro sa KBL. Wow, what history being made right in front of us. Talking about history, well, balikan muna natin ang best moments dito po sa ating This Week in Sports History.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
June 5, 2005 or 17 years ago, napanalunan ni Rafael Nadal ang kanyang pinakaunang Grand Slam at French Open title. Tinalo ni Nadal si Mariona Puerta sa finals sa score na 6-7, 6-3, 6-1, 7-5. Diyan na nagsimula ang journey ni Nadal para matawag na King of Clay. Simula 2005 ay hindi na natalo sa finals ng French Open ang Espanyol. 14 na titles lang naman ang hinakot ni Rafa dyan kabilang ang katatapos lang na 2022 French Open. Nakuha niya ang latest clay crown sa likod ng straight sets win kontra kay Casper Ruud. Rafael Nadal wins first French Open title this week in sports history. Unbelievable. Hanggang ngayon po siya pa rin ang pinakamagaling pagdating sa surface na clay. Alright, well, we're just about ready para sa ating huling panayam po ngayong araw na to sa Power and Play sa ating feature sa In the Spotlight.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Siya po ay marami nang napuntahang mga bansa. Kung mula Italy, mula sa iba't ibang dako ng Asia and of course sa Serbia. But ngayon po, siya ang hawak sa ating national team patungo sa third window ng FIBA World Cup qualifiers. We put the spotlight on the interim head coach ng Gilas Pilipinas, walang iba kung hindi si Coach Nenad Vucinic.
And as we had promised, our current coach for the third window of Gilas Pilipinas, no other than Coach Nenad Vucinic. Thank you so much, Coach Nenad, for joining us here tonight. It's a big honor for Power and Play to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, I have been reading a lot about your resume and all the things that you have done in basketball, and I'm just so excited to have another Serbian in town. After of course Coach Rajko Toroman in my day, and I'm just happy that you're here. But before that, how has your stay been in the Philippines so far, Coach Nenad?
Look, this is my second time in Philippines. I came to the coaching clinic about 3 or 4 years ago, and I haven't seen much. I've seen we had a couple of days of a coaching clinic here, and I didn't really see Manila that well. And then we went 4 or 5 days down to Boracay, and we had spent great time down the beach. It's really lovely there. But Manila is obviously it's a big city, a lot of traffic. But I'm used to this. I lived in Istanbul, I lived in Beirut, and they're similar, very difficult to drive. But I'm driving here. I like to drive myself, and it's great. There is everything that you need in Manila, and enjoying it.
Before you started working here, almost full time, what were your impressions of Philippine basketball?
Look, I have had the few games against Philippine national team before. So I think last time we played him in 2013 or 2014. I think it was 2014. They came to Auckland to play the game, and since then I have followed quite a lot Philippine basketball. I was coaching here, so I had a interest in following it. I was out of international basketball when I finished my contract with Basketball New Zealand, and that was 2014. So I really didn't follow that well national team, but again, I think New Zealand played in 2019. I think they had played against New Zealand. So
how do you compare? How do you compare Filipino players, our league, of course, the PBA, and of course the collegiate leagues, perhaps with the other countries, the other players that you have handled in the past, ranging from Europe all the way to Asia, including the Middle East?
So Philippines basketball is very similar to US system, obviously with PBA equating to NBA. It's a professional league. The university league is very strong. And the high school and the junior basketball is based around high schools. But I would say that there is one downfall to that, and the development of the players is more based. It's actually the development of the young players at the early age. It's much more focused for the overseas league, like European leagues and also Middle East leagues, because they're trying to develop their players for the seniors. Where in high school and university, the coaches there have got those players only for a limited amount of time, and they have to win games, so they have to focus on results and performance. So I think that's probably a little bit of downfall in terms of development of the players. But having university players able to play under pressure of 20,000 people watching them, the motivation is high and all that. So that is a good thing, and it's very well organized. And I'm really impressed with the organization.
In terms of skills, in terms of basketball knowledge, how does the Filipino player compare, Coach?
I think Filipino players are late developers. They develop later because they don't train as much when they are in a high school age. There is restrictions, obviously, in university. They have to study. Where the European players, especially top players, they pretty much professionals from the age of 16, 17 if they have got talent, and they train twice a day. So it's a lot more. But that shouldn't stop really Filipino players to develop a little bit later than their counterparts in Europe, but they can still reach their potential. And they're talented players. There's a lot of talented players, athletes. Confidence is high, and they have to be put in a good system, to develop well.
Well, and that's the reason why it's always, very smart. It's always an opportunity when foreign coaches come over to the Philippines, like you, and impart what you know to these young players. And, that's exactly what's going to happen now in this FIBA qualifiers in the third window, where you are now going to be handling the team. You came in as a consultant, but now you're handling the team as the head coach, even in an interim basis, maybe. Was this really the plan, Coach Nelad, when you talked to SBP? Was this really the plan that you were going to be handling a particular window, or was there something else?
No, look, I was approached by Coach Chot probably about a month ago, because he knows that he had to focus a lot on his PBA club, TNT. And we planned that I can take this young team, because we knew we're not going to have access to PBA players, and that I can take this young team for development to this Korean exhibition games and also games against New Zealand, India. So and I think it's working well. There is no pressure for results for those young players. We just want to see. There is several names from this team that the national program is looking at for the next year World Cup and for the future as well.
Did you have a hand in selecting this current Gilas pool, Coach Nenad? Considering that, obviously you've not had as much time as all of the other coaches, but were you asked of your opinion about certain players to be included in this pool?
Absolutely. We spoke about that with coaching staff. Coach Jot obviously is the head coach, and all the other coaches. We're putting out the names that we think that, and everybody had, different ideas and in the end, we made a pool, quite a big pool of players. Some are not available, unfortunately, due to injuries or other personal circumstances. We are blessed and happy that there is no pressure of winning games because we have qualified already for the World Cup, and we have to use that to develop the players that to fill the squad, because we don't know yet next year what is going to be the situation with PBA players who can we get with that. So it's still unknown, and we're hoping that the Philippines can have the best possible team by having all the players available.
What was the criteria, Coach Nenad, that you used? This entire coaching staff. What was the criteria that you used to select the players that you would put in the pool?
All the normal criteria, like skill, the ability to possibly perform at the international level. There are some players in the team now that have performed well at the international level. There are some that never played anywhere near that level. So we're trying to protect, and see if we can get players that have got enough size, skills, but more than anything, I think effort, confidence, competitiveness, all those attributes that we're probably always going to be a little bit shorter team than the big European teams, so we have to make up with the speed, and we have to make up with the execution of the plays and defenses. So we have to create a big pool of players, because this competition next year is very, very important for the Philippine national team to perform well.
Is it a bigger challenge for you, Coach, now that you are coaching this pool of players, a young pool at that? Most of them are just out of college, and of course there are no pros in that pool. Is it a bigger challenge for you, considering that you don't know them as well as you want to, because obviously of the time that you've been here? Does that pose a concern for you, Coach?
Well, some of the players I do know, because I spent some time with them in Jordan last year when they were there. I was also in Serbia when they played the qualifying, and obviously I've spent now here for I'm already here 6 months, and I know quite a few players. There are some that I didn't know, but I'm getting to know them now during training, and I'm of course relying a lot on experience from Coach Chot and Coach Jong and Coach Josh as well, that we can get this team performing reasonably well at this window. But for us, really, them able to compete against the top players of Korea and New Zealand is a very good thing for the players individually to develop. So eventually, if they make the team for next year's World Cup, they can be better than they are now.
Well, and of course, when you go through this lineup, and now that you're training these boys, what is the biggest concern for you right now, Coach, in terms of preparation going into the third window?
Well, I would say the biggest concern is that half of our team haven't played at this level. So we don't know how will they adjust to the level and to the pressure of those games. We have confidence. I have confidence in all those guys that are going to be there. That's why we picked them. Yes, we're going to be probably small. Yes, we're going to be a little bit inexperienced, but we can make up for that. We can make up with a lot of effort and a lot of execution. But it's enough to create some sort of a system so we can play so we can put it bust.
Right. Well, many people are very interested about what's happening with the Gilas pool right now. What is the status of the team? When are you going to make, I guess, the final selection? Obviously, you will cut it down to about 12 for each window. Is this going to be a revolving thing? In other words, all of the players will be available, and it's just at the last minute that you will decide on the 12. Is that the way it's going to go?
Well, for this particular window, we have got selection. I think we're down to 14, and we may even take all 14 or 12 players to Korea and then to New Zealand. So this is basically the team that we have right now. But for the August window, for November window, it really is going to depend on availability of PBA players and also overseas players, because we're getting quite a few overseas players now with White Ramos and Kiefer and 30 Ravenna, Justin Baltazar just signed over there, SJ Valangel, he signed it in Korea. So, a lot of our top talent, is going in professional leagues. So this preparation, during the winter months, from August until May next year, it might be still young players, maybe some PBA players. We will see.
All right. And when you look at this, pool of players, the team that you have right now, what would you consider as their strength, Coach? When they start competing and playing together, what do you think is the strength of this team?
Well, look, I would be very disappointed if this team, when we play these games, are not enthusiastic and energetic. That's something that we cannot fail on. So energy, enthusiasm, and playing as a team, sacrificing for each other, creating a nice atmosphere in a team, that is a must for us. For everything else, there is a kind of excuse.
Any particular standouts? Any particular players who have really stood out and surprised you in practice?
Well, there is a couple of young players that are doing very well in training. Now, how much court time they will get in the games come, I don't know. But there are players like, for example, Kevin Quimbao and Renz Abondo. So we have quality, we have belief in what we can do. We're now working on a system, and we don't really have much time. But we're hoping to perform well.
All right. Well, you're going to Korea to play a couple of games as part of the build-up, as part of the preparations and training of the team. What do you expect to achieve there, Coach Nerad, in terms of the games that you'll be playing? And hopefully put together and build on as you move forward?
Look, we're facing very tough preparation games, but I wanted those preparation games because nothing can prepare you as well as tough games. We're playing a high-level Asian team that haven't played in this window. We all know that they got disqualified because they couldn't make it here to Manila for the qualifying tournament because of COVID, and they will be hungry. They haven't played for a while, and they're going to be hungry. The fact that we have got young team, I mean, they're not going to feel sorry for us. They're going to attack us. But this is what we need. We need to see whether the guys can stand up to the good team, and we believe that we can. Time will tell, but again, that's the preparation really for us to get as tough games as possible. That when we go and face New Zealand, and this is a very good New Zealand team, so we know that we're up against a very, very tough team. But again, playing at their court as well, so. It will be difficult, but I'm not the kind of a coach that likes to make excuses for those. We're going to be able to put at least 5 good players on the court at all times, and they're going to do the same thing, and we'll go in battle and try to get as much as possible from the game.
Does it change the way you prepare the boys, the mindset of the team, considering, as you said, that we have qualified for the World Cup? considering that there is less importance or significance in these games except to prepare. Does it change the way you prepare their mindset? And at the same time, is there less pressure on you, coach, knowing that this is really just a way to prepare this team for the future?
Look, nobody puts more pressure on myself than myself. So I do put a lot of pressure on myself for my team to perform. I put a lot of pressure on myself to try to win every game. It doesn't matter what the difference in the level it is. And this is what I'm trying to transfer to the young guys as well. They got no excuses, okay? If we go and lose the game by 30, 40 points, there's no excuses. We can play. We have got enough talent. We got a short preparation time, but we're training now, and we just have to get good. So when the game time comes, that we can perform. All the other excuses, are not for me. If somebody wants to make an excuse for me, go ahead. But I put pressure on myself.
Well, that's a terrific way to put it, and of course, the attitude towards that is admirable, and I'm sure that it will rub off on the boys, and we'll see a fighting team in the mold of Coach Nenad. Coach, let me go to another point here. You're also the consultant of the Meralco Bulls. You were just appointed as part of that coaching staff. Are there any specific areas that you are looking at, that you have seen, that can help the Bulls prepare in the PBA?
Look, first of all, I'm building a really good relationship with Coach Norman Black. I really respect, how he runs practices, how he's organized, how he's serious about things. I'm taking it a little bit sort of from behind, because the preparation, the game is starting this Saturday, the league. So I don't want to interfere too much, just, quietly talking to the coach, maybe a couple of observations here and there. But, the system is in place. They had a good last conference. They made it to the final. They won 2 games in the final. So, they're a team that is operating well at the moment. If I can add a little bit, and I believe I can, and we're really working well together. But obviously, I've only been for 2-3 practices so far. So, and I'm going to be away with Gilas quite a lot, So this first conference is going to be very difficult for me to make any, positive impact, But little things here and there we can do, and the team is training really well. They're training hard. They're organized. But the PBA is tough. There's no easy beats, and every game is cutthroat. So it's going to be fun to see how Meralco plays this year.
I was going to ask you your impression about the PBA, but you said it already, and truly, it's going to be a tough All-Filipino or a Philippine Cup conference. You have had a tremendous career, a checkered career. When I look at your resume, so many championships. Of course, the Stankovic Cup back in 2011. Of course, you brought New Zealand to the World Cup all the way to the round of 16, and many other achievements in your time. Are you prepared, Coach, to be a full-time head coach of Gilas, if called upon?
No, look, I came here as a consultant, and I'm very happy to help in any way I can. We are going to have a good team for the World Cup next year. We know that we're going to be facing best teams in the world. I am in a role of consultant and an interim head coach at the moment, and I'm doing my best, whatever the organization and coach wants me to do.
Alright mga kaibigan, yan po si Coach Nenad Vucinic, ang interim head coach ng Gilas Pilipinas for the third window ng FIBA World Cup qualifier. Actually, may one question pa doon. Sabi niya that he is confident that they will be prepared for the 2023 FIBA World Cup. Well, tignan natin, and of course, we wish him all the best. Doon po sa mga nagpadala ng kanilang sagot sa ating pinupulsuhan ngayong araw na to, kung dapat na magretiro si Nonito Donaire, marami po salamat sa inyong lahat. Basahin ko lang lamang yung kay Melissa Batumbakal, yes, Comnoli, wala na siyang dapat na patunayan pa dahil marami na siyang nakuhang world titles. Just call me Rex, sabi niya, for me it may depend on his personal decision. He must consult his mentors, fellow boxers, and even to si Rachel, his wife. At si Kyle Silver, sabi niya, one more fight, I hope, against Butler. At doon po sa mga nagpadala sa Facebook, maraming salamat po. Doon naman sa mga nag-aabang ng NBA, dikit na dikit yung laban. Ang huli kong tingin, tabla ang score. Hindi ko lang alam kung ano na score ngayon, pero napakaganda nung laban Game 4. Panoorin niyo po yan over Signal TV. Alright, that'll do it for us this morning sa Power and Play. Again, marami po salamat sa lahat ng ating naging mga panauhin, and of course, sa lahat po sa inyong sumubaybay ngayong araw pong ito. Magsama-sama ulit tayo next week. Lagi namin sinasabi, tuwing Sabado, bawal ang masungit, at sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam all, for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH, teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Susunod na po ang inay ko po. Happy Sports Weekend, mga kapatid! More power, more play.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko, para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at magpapatalo, ipagdiwang natin ang Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, Chumbe, Sibay, Lakay, Aniga. Sama-samang pakita ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko Pilipino.